Hello and welcome back to another edition of the Baseball Talk Radio Show. I'm Gary Mack, and I'm joined by the ever popular, handsome co-host of mine, Rich Baxter. Rich, how the hell are you today?
Thank you so much, Gary. Doing well. How are you? Where can I send that check for all those nice compliments for you?
I'm doing well, Rich, and I'll send you an email after the show where you can send the
All right.
check.
Venmo or PayPal, will that work?
Bitcoin.
Yeah, Bitcoin, Dogecoin, whatever you.
Yeah, there you go. Whatever coin there is out there now. Well, Rich, the baseball season, spring training at least, is in full swing. I was catching a couple of games out on the West Coast the other night. I was up late and I put on the Angels and the Cubs, I believe it was. Yes. 'Cause last night I think it was the Angels and who was it? The Rockies.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, they're playing a lot. The MLB at night, late at night, plays a lot of the replays of the Arizona League, and caught some of that. But the rest of Major League Baseball has been very busy, Rich, and they announced plans to host an annual Lou Gehrig Day on June the 2nd. It's going to raise awareness for amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, ALS, commonly known as Lou Gehrig's disease, named after the Yankee legend who died in 1930 or was diagnosed with it in 1939. The plans include players wearing a 4-ALS patch on their jersey, an homage to Gehrig's number 4, and fundraising efforts to help the fight against the disease. The idea came from an advocacy group that included a songwriter, Brian Wayne Galantine, who was diagnosed with ALS in 2017, and 2 years later raised the idea to other members about working with MLB to honor Gehrig in a similar manner to Jackie Robinson and Roberto Clemente. Unfortunately, before it passed the board, he passed away of the disease in October. Actually, he did live to see that 2 days after every club had agreed to the plan. So, MLB going to do another day, June 2nd. Every year it's going to be, Rich, to honor Lou Gehrig.
Yeah, it sounds really good, and raise some awareness on the disease that's unfortunately sort of associated with his name. You know, number 4 for the Yankees for many years, and that's good. Baseball finally doing some stuff that we can be proud of, associating itself with nice awareness and just a good solid connection there with this charity.
And but you have to wonder if you have an advocacy group if they'll try to do any other things such as this. Babe Ruth died of throat cancer. Will a cancer group get together and have a Babe Ruth Day? Um, you have to wonder whether they'll do it. I'm glad that they're not all wearing number 4, because that's, Jackie Robinson is the most confusing day in baseball to me, because everybody's got 42 on, so you don't
Yeah.
know what player it is.
Yeah.
Imagine that in football, because they'd say, the referee call a foul on number 42, and everybody'd have the same number. But
Yeah.
um,
It is confusing, especially when
yeah,
you're at the stadium.
yeah, that's right. Because at least at home, the announcers will have an idea of who the players are, but it's a good thing. Major League Baseball getting involved for a good charity such as that. And it is a terrible disease, and man, you know, we spend so much money in this country on stuff, and things like this aren't getting looked at, and that's really a shame.
Yeah, I'm just reading a little of the biography here as we're talking about this story, and things that I never knew about Lou Gehrig. I'll just read just a second or two for our listeners out there and people that are watching us on YouTube. Um, he was born to a father who was a sheet metal worker by trade who was frequently unemployed due to alcoholism and epilepsy. His mother, a maid, was the main breadwinner and disciplinarian of the family. He had two sisters who died in an early age from whooping cough and measles, a brother who also died in infancy. So what a kind of a tragic life this guy had, who rose up out of these sort of ashes, so to speak, and became, you know, a great baseball player. It's amazing story.
And that's part of it. If you watch the movie, he almost seemed like a uh, how can I word this in a nice way? A mama's boy, I guess, because his mother was so involved. But when you lose kids like that, you do tend to be more protective of the ones that remain. So they were very protective of him. And interesting, I didn't know that about his father, because in the movie his father comes off as a lovable type of guy. But of course, when that movie was made, they didn't really go into the. Now, if they made his story again, you'd have a big thing about him being an alcoholic, and who knows. But it just how times change. But it's a good movie if you ever want to check it out. Pride of the Yankees, probably one of the best baseball movies ever from a dramatic point of view. Um, and it makes sense. I mean, Field of Dreams is a great movie, but it's there's a lot of confusion in that
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah. The ones that Baseball Network keeps showing back to back to back, yeah, they could refresh that a little bit
Yeah.
sometimes with these other films. But yeah, great that Lou Gehrig will be, um, have his own day, so to speak, MLB here in 2021. And Gary, I have another news and note about some fans going to be watching baseball. At least in California, it was announced that as of April 1st, they're going to have a relaxing in different areas of California um, for fans to be able to attend games from California. Interestingly enough, the tickets must be sold to Californians. They can't be sold to people outside of California to come and watch the games because they don't want to attract a lot of travelers still, apparently. So, in some form or fashion, there's going to be fans in California um, and around the country. We have different states opening up. Texas just dropped the masks. And other requirements that people have been following. And so we're going to have some fans probably at different levels in different states, but that'll be nice.
I I want to say something here, but I just find it fascinating that California will only sell to Californians, and yet the borders are wide open because of COVID, but they're afraid to let people in their state because of COVID. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but
That's California.
that's Texas has got the same issue. They open the borders in Texas to Mexico. They open the borders to government, and yet they 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 have themselves surrounded by fences and stuff. So and these people coming in, they said the other day 100 people with COVID. Don't they think that's going to spread? I mean, I don't know. Let's not get into that in this show, but that's good news that people are going to be allowed in. And I know New York here. I think it's like uh, I'm not sure if it's 10% or 30% or something. Or there's going to be a minimum amount of people allowed in. But that's at least something. And of course, we've got our own problems here in New York with our governor. It looks like he's going to be going up the river for either harassing women or cheating the federal government, lying with the COVID death numbers. So he's doomed no matter what. But it's a shake your head proposition here. Florida and Texas are thriving, and they opened it up, and I don't understand why we're still closing things down when we should be opening things up now in this country and opening it up. You want to make it so they got to wear a mask into the ballpark. That's fine, but I you know just
Yeah.
I just wonder what like in Miami are they gonna in Tampa are they gonna have social distancing or is it 100% tickets they can sell? Not that it matters in Miami and Tampa. When you see a crowd, it looks like they were social distancing long before there was a
Sure,
lockdown.
Otani will stack up in the rotation.
Yeah. California, it says on Friday, lifted some coronavirus restrictions on outdoor sports. And I'll bring it up here on our feed for our YouTube viewers as well here in a second. And it's going to be various places. So far, the Padres, the Angels, and the A's have also said that they will have fans in the stands as of opening day on April 1st. Dodgers and the Giants have not commented yet, but they will announce plans later
That's
as far
interesting.
as how many fans will be let in. Um, Despite there being 4,659 new cases on Thursday in California being announced. But like you said, apparently, with all the vaccinations that are being done, it's going to allow certain percentages of people to go into these venues to watch baseball. And across the country, it'll probably be, you know, local and state governments making those decisions.
Yeah, and I guess there'll be certain protocols. I guess I don't know. Will they take your temperature before you go in, or do they have some other devices now to tell whether you're sick or not?
Um,
I don't know. I don't think I'll be going to a game this year. Not at my age. Um, I don't think it's going to happen. I'd be a little nervous of taking the risk at this point in time. But
yeah.
I mean, I've been home for almost a year. I'm retired, so it's okay. I can be home.
I, I went out to the Texas Roadhouse last night, and you wouldn't know there was a pandemic. There was an hour wait to get in.
Oh, really?
Place was
Wow.
surrounded by vehicles, and this was, I would say, prime time for dinner around 5:30 to 7 o'clock. There was an hour and 20-minute wait that me and a few coworkers endured to get in there. Uh,
Wow.
but once in, yeah, it was, as you're eating, of course, everybody had their masks off. So the first few times I've eaten in a restaurant, I was really concerned. But each time you go back, your concern sort of you forget about it, so to speak.
Yeah, yeah. Well, with me, it's the it's the weight and the age now with me. So
Yeah.
I'm just and of course my wife's situation health wise. So we're not going to take any chances, and
Sure.
um, I can't take any chances that I give it to her. So
And unless you had the vaccination and all, that people are going to be more so erring on the side of caution, so to speak, and that's a good thing.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So if I can't go to a game, I can't go to a game. That's it. If things ease up and who knows, at the end of the year, maybe I'll go to a minor league game or something where it's not as crowded and more suitable for social distance. I everything's up in the air. So,
Yeah,
who knows now? But the good thing is it looks like we're gonna proceed and have a season unless some monkey wrench gets thrown into the works. But let's keep our fingers crossed that it doesn't.
yeah. Some of the superstars already hitting the diamond in spring training. Now that the first week of play is underway here, we're starting to see some of the biggies come out for the Mets. Jacob DeGrom took the mound for the Mets already. Bryce Harper hit a home run for the Phillies already, his first at bat of spring training.
Wow, that's a pretty good thing. But Rich, it's not these guys. They get so much money that it's not like the old time guys that when we were kids or when I was a kid, they'd have to get a job in the winter.
Yeah.
And these guys now, their job is staying in shape. So he was probably, as all of them are, not I'm not just picking on him. And look, it's a good thing. It's better for the fans. But they come in, they're ready to go already. I mean, really, the only reason that you have spring training now is to get the pitches stretched out and loosened up, and even though they're throwing all winter, it's not the same kind of thing. You want to get them into that game thing.
Yeah.
Um, but the hitters, I think the hitters are hitting all year round pretty much now. There's so much money they put an addition on their house and put a batting cage in. I mean, at Cal Ripken's house, he had a full size gymnasium basketball court uh, uh, built onto his house. I mean,
And when you
it's
say and when you say house, picture mansion,
yeah,
like
well, yeah, yeah.
these big spreads,
Wouldn't you like to live
big
in one of those places just for like a month, just to see what it would be like to like need a golf
with a
cart to
dozen
go to the kitchen or
bathrooms,
something?
dozen bathrooms, like
Yeah, I
dozen
just
bedrooms.
I always thought about that when I see the king, the Queen of England, in the palace there, and they're going on about the bathrooms, and I'm saying, would you like to just roam through there and, uh, you know, uh,
Seems like it would be a little lonely unless you had people, family staying with
I
you and
don't
things
know.
like that. Because big cavernous house that you have many rooms in, if it's you and a wife or you and family member, one guy's going to be on this wing while the other one is, in the kitchen, and you're going to need walkie talkies to talk to one another or
Well,
something.
it could be healthy for some marriages.
Yeah. Yeah.
And imagine a podcast studio you can build. Wow.
Yeah. Now I hear, and we'll have to do some research on this. But yeah, a lot of the superstars are building these huge mansions, baseball players. Mike Trout is got a mansion underway in southern New Jersey in his hometown. So when we get some details on that, we'll bring it on to the show for you. I don't think it's going to be any small place either.
No, in fact, they mentioned that on one of the broadcasts I was watching, the Angels, and they said that Mike Trout was building a rather large home on his in his hometown. So I imagine he'll have a whole batting cage set up, and who knows what else. But
He's got,
it's very interesting.
yeah. And he was just recently in the news a year and a half ago about snaring a California mansion as well for himself. 9,000 square foot English Tudor style mansion in Newport Beach. So for his Anaheim Angel activities, 9.15 million. Let's put a little screenshot of that up for our YouTube listeners. And, if you're listening to us on the podcast, check us out on YouTube. We're there as well. And there it is, Gary. I think you're talking about something like this.
I love it. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, this is the place here. It looks like a 3-car garage.
Nice pool.
Gated community elevator, built-in doggy bath, and sweeping coastal views. Yeah, that's what you
There
were
you
talking
go.
about.
Yeah.
Master suite for a his and hers walk-in closet and a shared bathroom with 2
Sweet.
vanities,
Nice.
a soaking tub, and a large walk-in shower. Yeah, that's what we need.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, multiple mansions for Mr. Trout there. Um, Rags to riches almost, even though his family had means of some sort. He's really hit it the big time.
Yeah, that's another thing I've always wondered about. When you hear these entertainers or ball players have like 6 homes or something, how the hell do you figure that out? I mean, what do you do for clothes? You know what I mean?
Got
If you
clothes in
got,
every house.
yeah,
Clothes
but
is
what
a small
happened?
expense.
But you know how you fall in love like with a sweatshirt, you get your favorite sweatshirt or something like that, and oh crap, I left that in my New York house.
Yeah,
I did I
got
did
that
I
TV I like
bring
down in Jersey there.
yeah, do I bring luggage with me? I mean, how does that work?
You're not going to carry
I
your own luggage.
can't. Do you have cars in each house? I mean, I can't fathom it.
Yeah.
I just I never been exposed to that world. I don't know. I mean I know some people that got a vacation house or something, and I mean I get confused when I go away for 2 weeks, did I bring enough clothes? Or
Yeah.
what do you do when you got different houses? And oh, I like my chair in Florida, but boy, whoever picked these chairs in Jersey, they're not very comfortable. I don't know. I just,
Yeah. When you
I
get
know we're
that,
totally off the tangent, but
get that kind of money, pick up a phone, yeah, I want this chair and deliver it to,
yeah. Or do like you order like 6 and have them delivered to each house? I mean, is each house got like the same setup? I mean, I
Then
I
the
don't know.
idea, I would imagine, is to keep those funds coming in. So you got to start investing. You got to start, buying different things that are generating revenue to pay for all this stuff.
Yeah, I know, but
Taxes, water
it's just
bills, sewer bills.
I never could when they say, "Oh, Tiger Woods has got like 5 homes." Like, how can you be so? And their staff, so they're always clean and stuff like that. How do you not? Well, I mean, obviously, the money that these guys are making, they can do it. The people that do it, well, but still, it's just how do you decide when you want to? Like if you want to go to a warm weather, but you got a house in Florida, you got a house in California, you got a house in the islands. Well, there's 3 warm weather spots. How do you decide where you want to go? I could see if you had a house in Florida and a place in New York or something, you know, because you had family or whatever, and you go back and forth. That kind of makes, you know what you can do. You leave some winter and summer clothes in New York. You leave summer clothes in Florida naturally, and then you bring back a few items and everything. But what would you like? What would you do? Would you set up two podcast studios? Would you have double of everything? I it's just amazing to me, and I'd love to live that lifestyle, but it's fascinating more than anything else. I don't mean to be critical of it. I find it fascinating.
Yeah, it's amazing. And as we said, we've been talking about sports cards the last couple podcasts. And here's another story from last year. If you didn't catch this one, um, a guy shelled out $4 million for the Mike Trout rookie card that was signed. So it was a 9 rated card, 10 overall, 9 for the signature, I believe, and 10 for the card. And guy picked it up for 3.9 million in Vegas. Guy named Vegas Dave. So and cards are off the shelves. I looked at Target the other night. I was shopping around and I was like, used to go over and visit Target's baseball cards and football
Yeah.
cards in the area
Uh-huh.
there, and there was none. So it and there was a sign that said, we're limiting one box per customer on purchases of cards because they're so hot. So, collecting has really exploded again across the country. People are getting back into it. Card values going up like crazy. And it's the physical cards. I know people are issuing the digital cards as well online, but they're not as popular as something you can hold in your hand, something that's graded, and it's really taken off again.
Yeah, there's something about a baseball card. I mean, a real card, like you said, holding it in your hand, the cardboard, the feel of it, everything that you can't duplicate in a digital card. So
And how about this? The guy that originally sold the card to him bought it in 2018 for $400,000. He ends up making a $3.6 million profit on a card in just about 2 years. That's amazing.
that's the way to do it, right?
Yeah, then you can start on
I'm just
mansion.
amazed. I'm amazed because usually when you used to hear about those high priced cards, as we've said before, it was like a Hannes Wagner, an old card.
Yeah, from the
It's not that
beginning.
old of a card.
No, it's a very common, newer card, which is amazing. And yeah, as you said, Honus Wagner's old tobacco cards were the ones that sold for over $1 million. That just shows you how wacky the collecting world has gone in the last couple years. Just maybe the pandemic brought upon a lot of this, you know,
Yeah,
situation, so to speak.
yeah, people got back into it. They had the time, but really wacky. And talking about wacky stuff, Rich, uh, we got an email this week from our good friends Jeff Cohen and of Baseball and Barbecue, and he's brought out a couple of things that he talks about in the email that he wanted us to discuss. And he mentioned that spring training they're allowing 5 to 7 inning games, depending upon what the clubs want to play, and players can be reinserted into the game. And he's concerned that while they sound stupid, the rules that somewhere along the lines they might be added into Major League Baseball. Um, but his real question is: do you think that one day Manfred will implement a mercy rule? Say a team is up by 15 runs after 6 innings, will the game be called in the interest of protecting the pitches? I know it. He says it sounds ridiculous, but we used to say the same thing about a runner on second in extra innings. Do you ever think we'll see a mercy rule in Major League Baseball, Rich?
I hope not. I really do, because it's almost like a softball game at that point. You got to play the game out, in my opinion. You have to, just as they always have. So, in my world, I wouldn't be happy with that.
Yeah, I don't think so, because I think just for the reason that you said, I think people would be up in arms if you pay a price and you go to a game and either your team is down or the other team is down by 15 runs, and then they call the game, and it's sort of like going to a movie and they play three-quarters of the movie, and even though you may know how it ends, they cut it off and say, well, you don't know how it's going to end again. So I don't think you'll see it ever. I mean, who knows? Manfred might be crazy to do it, but um, I don't think you'll see that. He's got another question, Rich, and that is, in the Manfred world, a pitcher goes, let's say a pitcher goes 10 innings, very rare, I stipulate, but it can happen. The pitcher is pitching a perfect game, but the game goes to extra innings, tied 0-0. Bottom of the 10th, a runner is placed on second base. A bunt moves the runner to third. A sac fly scores a run. Should it be considered a perfect game loss? The pitcher got 29 consecutive outs and did not allow a runner on base. By rule, the runner was placed on second. What is the ruling? I have no idea, Rich, in this situation. I really don't. What they would call that. Jeff makes a good point here, but um, they are putting the runner on. It doesn't count as a hit or a walk against a bat against the pitcher. I don't believe it shouldn't. So I don't know how you would score something like that. He's got to ask uh, Jeff, when you listen to this, you got to ask an official scorer to find out that answer, because I have no idea what they would call that.
Yeah, and every year I like to obtain the rule book if I can find it, and it's been getting harder and harder to find it on the shelf, because it's probably getting thicker and thicker because of the things that are mentioned by Jeff in that email. The little things, that nuances that you might not consider thinking about until something like that happens. But yeah, it's just, pardon the word, but malarkey in my book. All these extra rules, runner on second. I don't go for that at all. There's just no way to, why not put them on third and just let somebody bunt them home and call it a day? I just, or put them on first. Why second? Like, it doesn't make sense. One hit wins the game, or, they go ahead by a run, I guess, So I'm not in favor of that. But Jeff, thanks for the great questions and the email. And keep up the great work on baseball and barbecue. Now, I was just Googling the show, and I came up with another baseball BBQ podcast. It was just launched. Just wanted to let you know about that. But if you're looking for our Jeff, it's baseball and AND BBQ. So I hate that when podcasts nick your name and take the name that you've been using for a while, and then you get lost in the shuffle, so to speak.
Yeah. But Len and Jeff, they're the original ones, and they do a great job. And they're terrific guys. And I'm not just saying that because I go on a show every now and then, but they get some great interviews, and they're doing a series now on like the history of old time baseball, going back to like the 1800s and stuff. And they had a gentleman on the other day, well, their last show, that plays in, there's they're not I don't know how to really explain it. It's not an organized league, but he goes around different areas of the country and they play these old time teams. You know, they play old style rules, no gloves and everything like that. And he had a quite an interesting guest on the other day. Uh, Guy's nickname was Pine Tar, and he was quite interesting character. So go check out their podcast. They have a lot of terrific guests on there. Well, Rich, Manfred's been busy and the MLB, as we've suggested, but now they suspended free agent pitcher Sam Dyson for the entire 2021 season and postseason for violating the league's domestic violence policy. Manfred announced the discipline action on Friday, and Dyson accepted the punishment. It is the longest suspension levied by the league under the policy for a player who was not formally charged. Dyson was a free agent before posts by his now ex-girlfriend alluded to violence in November 2019 and is yet to be signed by a team. Now, I this guy's got to go now. He's got to go through a confidential and comprehensive evaluation and treatment program with the Joint Policy Board overseeing it. But we don't even know if he did anything.
Yeah, and
it
that
says alluded to violence. She didn't say he did anything. She alluded. I'm I'm gonna stay out of this one. I think. Your thoughts?
Yeah, we'll dance around this one nicely. It's tough, tough situation. He has been suspended, and that's about all. We don't know any of the. I always say that we don't know what happened deals because we really don't know what happened. So even to say anything about it would be speculation on our part. So we just have to report what happened, and let everything work itself out from there. But yeah, what a shame that has happened. And another news of crime and things like that. Former MLB player Tony Fernandez, formerly of the Blue Jays for many years and the Mets, the New York Mets, lived in the Dominican Republic, passed away last year. News of his house, and his family has been staying in his house after he passed away, has been robbed in Dominican Republic, and they stole a lot of his baseball memorabilia, including a Mets jersey that he had on display there, and they left it in shambles as well. This was reported on Fansided blog for baseball, and what a terrible story. It had closed circuit video of the robbers. They were young people, probably 20 years old, I would guess, 21 maybe. And just no regard for anybody, like that's the ultimate of, you know, disparaging somebody's memory to go in there and, steal their items, and just doesn't give you a warm and fuzzy.
No, and that's what the family has left of him to remember him by, and uh these dirtbags come in and they take those memories away. I don't know. It's just it's a crazy world out there, and it's just you know, um I don't know, maybe the baseball world could do something to help the family out if they need it. Or whatever. But then to trash the house and take the memorabilia, but why trash somebody's home as well? So
Yeah.
it's just it's not the world we grew up in, apparently, Rich. But another thing that we didn't discuss that just popped into my head. Uh, Thinking about that Sam Dyson situation, Mickey Callaway, the Angels pitching coach, who's been suspended now indefinitely, and the former Met manager, he's in some hot water with this deal with women, and apparently having sex with all kinds of women, and sending pictures of his genitals to women. And apparently it was well known throughout baseball. And my question is, how did they let it get this far? Um, they knew it in Cleveland, though they deny it. You know, they said the Mets knew about it. They had a nickname for him in the organization, which I won't repeat here. Um,
Thank you.
and and it's
Yeah,
just
well,
amazing.
yeah. Yeah, like you said, some people may have known about it, but others may not have, like management, brass, word gets around with certain circles, but not in all circles, and if you've ever worked for a company or a bigger company, you know, your close confidants might know things, but yet, somebody in an office that's far away doesn't know that, obviously, but that's, the way of the world, unfortunately. But yeah, it's a shame, and that's, I don't know, that's personal stuff in a certain respect. I'd rather not know about these things, but apparently when it gets surfaces and um, makes the news, so to speak, it's not good,
Yeah.
to say the
and
least.
and you were talking about things circling around a company. Well, let's make this show circle around your company. If you're a fan of the show and no other baseball fans in your company, circle and tell them about the show. Let's circle it around. Let's get more viewers and listeners to the podcast. We can always use that, and we welcome it, and we welcome your opinions. And if you'd like to get in contact with us and be a part of the show, you can call us at 516-619-6341. Leave a message, comment, or question. It is a a voicemail. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
It is a voicemail number. We don't do a live show yet, so we may be thinking about that in the future. But so we can't take phone calls, but you
So we
know,
do record it live. We never stop. So
yes, yeah, we record it live. But by the time you get it, it is recorded. Um, but if you'd like to see us do live shows, let us know, and maybe you can help us out with a small donation. Go to anchor.fm/baseball talk radio show or patreon.com/baseball talk. And you can leave a donation there. $2, $3, $5, $1,000 if you like a month. Anything you'd like to give would be greatly appreciated and would help us with the show. So, I hope you look into those things.
yeah, even $1 a month. And you can go right to our site at anchor.fm. Um, Feel free to sign up right from there. There's a sponsor button on there. You can have it a recurring sponsorship, and they're real good about that. Safe place to sign up here. Here's some stats from our podcast here. And Spotify just purchased Anchor.fm, Gary. So maybe we'll look for some improvements. A bigger company scooped up this company that we've been dealing with for a couple years now with the show. So here's some nice stats for you to look at here. We got a lot of listeners from all over the place. United States still the leader at 86%. United Kingdom still hanging in there at 7%. That's a huge number to me, foreign listeners. And we got Mexico and Canada in there with about 1% apiece. So, we're covering North America quite well here. Apple Podcasts, 72%. Amazon Alexa, some people are taking our information that we're giving them. You can listen to it right from your smart device, Apple or Google. And in this case, Alexa, 4%. That's a big number. And Anchor Direct is 3%, Overcast 3%, and then 18% other. And here's a breakdown of our listeners by age group, and great representation here in the middle, golden year, so to speak, 45 to 59, and our retired folks of around 60 plus, and 35 to 44. We've made great strides in big listenership. So thank you very much, everyone.
And thank you. And one more time, you want to be a part of the show, you can just call us at 516-619-6341 and leave a message, a comment, or a question. And we'll be more than happy to play it on the air for you. And
Yeah.
Rich, we've got some surgeries to report about. Nationals left-hander John Lester will undergo, or he has undergone surgery to have his thyroid gland removed. Assuming all went well, the surgery is only expected to keep him out of action for roughly a week's time. He has been dealing with fatigue early in camp. And after some consultations with medical experts and a slate of tests, he opted to have the surgery this week with the hope that it'll prevent further symptoms during the 2021 season. Lester signed a 1-year, $5 million deal with the Nationals over the winter, setting the stage for him to slide into the rotation behind Max Scherzer, Steven Strasburg, and Patrick Corbin. The contract reunites him with David Martinez, his manager, who was his bench coach in Chicago from 2015 to 2017, and with fellow free agent signee Kyle Schwarber. So John Lester having big surgery to take out his thyroid, but they say he'll only miss a week. And I believe he had a cancer a couple of years ago that's in remission. So that's why they're not taking any chances with the thyroid, I would imagine.
Yeah, and we wish him well, of course. John Lester's been around for many years, uh, pitching with the Cubs and, of course, with the Red Sox for many years. So we wish him
Mm-hmm.
well. And Yankee manager Aaron Boone had a pacemaker put in him recently. And Gary was just complaining about, a shortness of breath, some lightheadedness and things like that. So doctors made a determination that he needed a emergency pacemaker to keep his heart rate up, and he's already back with the Yankees. So it's amazing how fast these doctors can diagnose these things. Sometimes patch you up and get you right back to work.
It is amazing. I was thinking the same thing, and he had, I think, open heart surgery or some other kind of heart surgery a couple of years ago. So it's pretty amazing, and he's young. He's only like 47, but the ticker, doesn't know any age. So, but like you said, Rich, isn't it amazing how they can pop that thing in there, and the next day or 2 days later, he's back, and he'll be taking it easy. I don't, they're not gonna. They'll be watching him closely and making him rest. He may not be back full time with the club yet, but in a couple of weeks they expect that he'll probably be back to full speed. So it is. It's quite an amazing thing nowadays. We're living in quite an age of medical, surgery and the stuff that they can do. And here's the amazing thing to me. I remember years ago, like when open heart surgery, things like that were such a, it was. It still is a serious operation, but remember how it used to be so serious? You'd hear years ago. I mean, when you were a kid, you hear somebody getting open heart surgery or something like that. It was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
now it's routine almost. Now it's like they pop them out one after the other that you don't even. It's still serious. I'm not anything like that. Is incredibly, incredibly serious, but it's not. It's just such a different level now because they know so much more and they do it so much, so often. So, um, but thank goodness that even though he's a Yankee, um, I say that with a smile. We don't want to see anybody go through that, and especially since he's such a young man, it really is a shame.
Yeah, but back on the diamond, as is Major League Baseball. We're recording the show on Sunday. So, Gary, it's going to be a big lineup of games again. A lot of these broadcasts are start going to make it onto the air in your local markets, usually after 10 days or so of playing some spring training games is when that happens. So, I'm looking forward to a little afternoon baseball to maybe pull up a sandwich and a soft drink and turn on, watch some warm weather down there and some baseball being played.
Yeah. I don't know if I said on this show the other or my Mets Musing show, but I did get a little freaked out the other day. I tell you, I must be losing my mind at my age. I don't know. I put on the game as I said earlier, and I'm watching the wind blow, and I'm saying, "My God, aren't these guys freezing?" They're in short sleeves and everything, and not even realizing that they're in Arizona and it's probably a nice warm breeze and they're thankful for it. Because it was so cold here the other day that I don't know, my mind is playing tricks on me, I guess, and I was thinking of that they were all in New York weather when they were in beautiful Arizona or Florida. So I have to keep that in mind and not be as um, jealous. It's the word.
I just had a little hiccup in my computer, so I apologize if I spoke over you there. But thanks for listening to this edition of the Baseball Talk Radio Show, everyone. And Gary, I can't wait to the next one already.
Yeah, Rich, and we're starting to get some stories at least to cover, and can't wait either. So we'll see you again next time.